This conference will now be recorded.
Use guys. Okay, so let's talk about, let me get everything out of the way and let's talk about working with sellers. One moment, please. Hold, please. Here we go. Okay, some things that we are and are not going to do today. And I'm not in slide mode and I'm not going to bother with it now. So just a little bit about me. I am just an agent, okay? So we're here to share information. This is a workshop about working with sellers, and it's set up like if you've never done it before, okay? So looking at my audience, I'm probably going to tell you some things you already know, and you're going to know better ways to do them than I do. So I share. This is no fun at all. There we go. Okay. I share, I wonder if I have to keep doing this for it to. I've never had to do that before though on here. Okay, so anyway, the first term that we learn in my classes is R&D. Does anyone remember what R&D means? Rip off and duplicate. So you get to rip off and duplicate. I have QR codes for you today. Everything that I do, you're probably going to take it home and say, you know what, that's okay, but I think this would be better. And that's fine with me because you're going to share that and then I'm going to rip yours off. Okay, and mine will be better. See how that works? So that's how we all work together. So I have QR codes for everything I have to share. As you know, I try to share with you because I know when you get started in this business, the one thing you probably don't have a lot of is money. So at least if you were like me, I had to make money. This is how I make my living. So it's important for me to make money. So I try to teach you the sweat equity way and the check equity way. Okay, so as you grow your business, I can tell you my feeling about real estate is they don't tell you how much money real estate can cost when you're in real estate school. Do y'all agree with that? Like you got out of real estate school and you went to hard, it's not, you went holy moly. So, you know, real estate costs money because you're a business owner and owning a business costs money. So as you grow your business, my recommendation to you is to budget. Part of it is your, you know, it's got three buckets, right? It's got your business bucket, your tax bucket, and your personal income bucket. Okay, and if you do that, you can put money back into your business, and then you get to do it the check equity way, which is, I'm telling you, it's a lot more fun. Okay, unless you're not making money, and then there's a difference. So I usually have this in presentation form, you guys, but I didn't get it that way. So today we're going to talk a little bit about lead resources. I could spend 2 hours talking about converting leads, but I'm not going to do that. This is an overview, and if we get finished early, then we talk about what you want to talk about. Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about listing leads. If you've been in the buyer class, it's much of the same but different than buyer leads. When you're new to this business, we encourage you to work with buyers because it doesn't cost a lot of money to work with buyers, and by and large you get a full commission check, and then you can convert that commission check back into your business. So listings cost a little money, and we'll talk about that, okay? And we're going to talk about just through the whole process, how to get them, how to set them up, how to pre-qualify them, how to work with them, how to keep them happy, and turn your one listing into up to 10 listings or 10 transactions, okay? So that's kind of what we're doing here. Is that okay with everybody? Am I on track okay so far? Yes, I should be sharing my screen. There is a way, just a moment. What did I do? Oh, there's my GoToMeeting. It's so weird because I don't have the little box I normally have up here for GoToMeeting. That's the freaky part. Let me see. There we go. I'm sorry, you guys. Let me share my screen. And for you guys online, there's my box, thank goodness. For you guys online, I'm guilty of not looking at chat, so just take yourself off mute if you need to and ask a question. But if you're not asking a question, just make sure you're on mute. So anyway, so that's kind of where we're going today. So I have I have resources for you also. And as I said, I'll share those with you. So let's talk about lead resources, okay? So you guys, I think this is the biggest misconception in real estate. Do you ever hear this term? Oh, those are good leads, those are bad leads. Do you ever hear those terms? Well, just a couple minutes about leads, because I don't think anyone teaches this, okay? Right? Lead. A lead is someone who has either made the mistake or the good fortune of giving you an email address and or a phone number, right? To me, I have a lead, okay? So now let's talk about good leads and bad leads, because this is where we get confused in real estate. We want to go from lead generation to lead conversion, and that's a good lead, right? You know how the percentage of time it works that way? Like 1%. 1% does someone call you. I had one person walk into my to an open house one time and say, look around and go, okay, I'll take it. I want to write an offer. That does not happen most like, well, maybe during the last few months that happened to you a few times, but in normal life that doesn't happen. So leads are, when you get a lead, first of all, you generate the lead, right? You're going to generate the lead, and then you got to have a way to capture it. Then we talked about that in KV core class, right? So you have a free resource to capture your leads, and then you have to incubate the lead. No one wants to do that part. Did I do it again? See, this isn't going away, that's going away. So then I have to incubate it, and that might be 2 weeks, a day, or I think I've told you guys the story of the time someone ghosted me for a full year and then called me and said, okay, I'm ready. So, you know, what if I'd have given up on that lead? And by the way, they sold a home and bought a home. So what if I'd given up on that lead? It'd been a disaster. So you have to incubate the lead, then you convert the lead. So all my lead resources, none of them are magic bullet. I will tell you the sweat equity part and the check equity part, okay? And I'm going to go through a couple of those resources. I think when you're brand new, you already know who you're going to, the first listing you're going to get, and you know those people already, and the first buyer you're going to get because they're your friends and family. They know, like, and trust you. And then those people are going to give you referrals. And then we talked about buyer classes, same as buyers, okay? All this is buyers. Then you have infinity groups. You know, I have my workout group, my church group, all those infinity groups. And this is where it gets fun with listings, because I think there's a couple, really, I don't have one listed on here that I think is most important. Your listings usually come from your buyers, people that have purchased a home from you in the past. And if you are loving on that database, that's where your listings are going to come from. People that know, like, and trust you, and people that bought from you. And buyers create listings, and listings create buyers, and it just kind of keeps going like that. And I know do I have anyone here that hasn't done their first transaction? Anybody? It seems crazy that you would ever get a lead or that actually converted in a transaction out of that now, but I promise you, if you keep doing this, it's just gonna snowball, okay? So I do a couple things to get listing leads. I farm my area. Now, this is a very expensive venture, and I'm going to be honest with you. A farm, if you're doing it right, is expensive, because you are connecting with that farm. You are sending something to them at least twice a month. Have you ever gotten a postcard in the mail? Random postcard? How many times have you repetitively gotten a postcard from that agent, a real estate postcard? Over and over and over again. So here's what I'm hoping with my postcards. And it happens to me enough to keep me going, okay? So everybody takes my postcard and looks at it, throws it in the trash. But then there's that person that goes and takes my postcard, looks at it, we are going to thinking about moving. I better say this. That's what I'm hoping for. So I have to stay in people's face. So with my farm, I couldn't farm until I could commit to 2 touches a month by mail is what I do. I'm just going to be honest with you guys. It's my most expensive venture. 2 touches a month by mail, some sort of 2 events, client appreciation type events per year. So now sometimes it's as easy. One of my events is I make Halloween a giant event on my driveway. It's a giant event on my postcard. It goes drop by my house. When I send it out to my farm, give them my address. I mean, if you guys don't want people to know where you live or what your phone number is or your email address, or that you don't want them in your social media, you are in the wrong business, okay? And we make big on our driveway. We have grown-up get trick treats, okay, that you have to be 21 or older to get. And then we have kid treats, and we make big and they're branded. So that's one of them, but I do at least 2 community events a year. And then I do at least 2 door drops a year. And to be an effective farm, it really is recommended that you have at least 500 homes in your farm. So do the math on that and then decide when you want to farm. Now, there's farming, and there is making sure everyone on your street knows who you are and what you do. Okay, so there's farming, and then there's making sure that you're a good neighbor to, say, the 50 houses around you. That's a good place to start. Yes, ma'am. You know, I didn't bring a door drop today. I usually have something fun like a gift and a card. So at Christmas, I have a little Christmas ornament, cheap Christmas ornament, and a card and some goodies. And I put it in, I get clear plastic door hanger bags from Amazon, cheapest way to get them, Amazon, and I have the cards printed, and then my sweat equity in that is, one time I did in the summer, get the scoop on home values or something like that. And I had a little plastic ice cream scoop that was branded. That was one thing I did. I usually do a Christmas ornament. That's another thing I do. I do a yearly letter from the heart, which is usually in January or February, because I don't want it to I used to do a Christmas newsletter, but I got lost in Christmas stuff. So I like it to come January. But so farming is expensive. Now here's another thing I like to do. And circle dialing. Circle dialing is when I do circle dialing. When we talk about open houses, I'm going to talk about circle dialing. But circle dialing means you choose a location, like where you're going to do your open house, or a home that just sold. And you simply call the households around that home and said, hey, Bob down the street just sold his house. Yeah, you're not going to believe what he sold it for. And there's all kinds of scripts you can use for that. But basically, I'm calling around either a listing that closed or my open house. And we want to talk to those folks. And again, we have 2 hours, so I'm going over the top. We can talk about details that you want to talk about. But when I circle dial those people, I'm just trying to engage them. And what I want from them is, if I'm circle dialing a listing that closed, I want to be able to give them a CMA for their home. Okay? I do not know those people. Just being nice. Hey, congratulations, your home value just went up. Bob down the street, oh my gosh, y'all. For you that have never sold a house, I know you've probably heard me say this, but no one ever in 5 years has ever asked me how many houses I've sold. Ever. Because I shower them with information, and they think I know what I'm talking about, even when I don't. So know your numbers, know your area before you do that. I usually run a CMA. I know what the house sold for. Got some other things that you can do instead of circle dialing by, sharing that information and getting information back through KV Core. Another thing we do, if you've got email addresses, or you've got a local Facebook page, is I create in Canva, I create a just sold alert. And by the way, in Canva, they have to, now I create the just sold alert in Canva, and then I put it on a landing page in Canva. And I put that on social media and say just sold alert. And everybody wants to know, right? So it says just sold alert, click here, phone number and email address to find out the value. People do that because they want to know how much it's sold for. Don't give that information away for free. They want to know. Okay, so, and I'm doing this right now as we speak. I send out a buyer needs letter. When I have a buyer that has a need, I don't do it if I don't have a buyer that has a need. This works out beautifully, and as we go today, I'll share my letter with you. And basically, my letter says that I have a buyer, and whatever my little story is about my buyer, my most successful one is I sent the buyer letter out to a school district, and I had a family that owned a home in the school district. They were looking for a specific type of home in that school district, and it wasn't on the market. So I simply told them about my little family. And then I asked them hey, if this is not, I think your house meets that criteria. And if you've thought about selling, I'd like to chat with you. But if this doesn't sound like you, just please text me or email me no. Well, guess what happened when I got that text or email? I know they're relieved, bless their hearts. So that's just a few ways that, you know, I love my buyer need letter. You guys, my last buyer need letter, again, this is check equity. Listings are check equity a lot of times. So it cost me the postage. I got the list in Remind for free, okay? It cost me the postage. It cost me the sweat equity because I made my whole family address envelopes, right? Because I wanted them to look like, I like handwritten envelopes because people open. I don't think those generated labels work. So people open them and, okay, let me make sure I get this right. So I connected my little family with a new home. And by the way, their price point was $650, okay? I connected them with a little home. I got to sell their home. So there's my two listings from that. I spent $700. So their home sold for $457, I think. They bought at $650. Okay, are you ready? My open house generated a great buyer that they thought they wanted. Well, no, yes, my open house that I had for their sale generated a great buyer who bought for another $600. I got another listing because remember, I can only find my buyer one house. I had 10 people respond. So I got another listing out of it. So what's that, 1, 2, 3, 4? But my favorite part is I had the other listing was on the market for like $610. And I had this little couple show up. It's my favorite part of any real estate story I have. And they thought they were going to remodel it, make it what they wanted, put a lot of money into it. But they got there and they said, we can't do that. And so I started working with them. Well, they bought a $950,000 home. But wait, they owned a house that, this is kind of the sad part of it, that if I put it on the market would be like $1 million. But we're about to close on it at $960,000 because their tenant bought it. So I don't get to put it on the market. So I'm sad about that, but I sold it off market. So that's my $700. So did I have to have the $700 up front? I did. If you're not in that place, there are ways you can get listings. You get listings from buyers, okay? Buyers turn into listings. And remember at buyer class, I told you, you can't do too many open houses. Nosy neighbors come to open houses. Nosy, yeah. Okay. Let me show you my buyer need letter. I'm going to show it real fast. This isn't the original one I worked on, but this is the one I'm working on now. Here we go. This is my new one. And I'm just giving you the Word document of it. But this is, I do a mail merge. So it all comes out. Hi, Anna. Hi, Bob. Excuse me. And this is what my letter looks like. This one's going to 500 people. The other one went to about 300 some people. I haven't had nothing happens from that. People are compelled. I think it's because, here's why I think I'm successful with this. And this is why I say you have to have an actual buyer, because I always have an actual buyer. You know, I just do. I always have an actual buyer. There's always someone. These people have $1 million budget and they want a one-story in the Woodlands with enough ground to put a pool in. Now, how many of those am I going to see on the market right now? None. Okay. First of all, in the Woodlands, for those of you that don't work in the Woodlands, there are 120,000 homes in the Woodlands. Right now, there are 167 listings, and that is nothing. Okay. So I got to go find listings for my buyers anyway. I can't wait for the perfect home to come on the market. I will go broke and my home will become foreclosed upon. So, so this is how I have been satisfying my buyers. And it's that I really think that, and by the way, I need to farm this out because my family's tired of addressing envelopes. I'm just going to be honest with you. They don't like my job right now. So I need to farm that out. For some reason, at this level, at this point in her life, she's not interested in addressing envelopes. I think that's ungrateful, but you know. So anyway, so this is my buyer letter. And I change it, like the last one talked about kids. I mean, I keep it so we don't know who they are, right? But I think that people feel an affinity with someone that loves their neighborhood. I think people really want to sell their house to someone that loves their house. And I think that people, if I sound like a real person, not an open door letter, people will respond to me. I got people that, I had someone write me a handwritten note. It was an older lady. She wrote me this beautiful handwritten note. I feel so bad I can't accommodate your people, but I'm not able to move until next year. And I'm like, next year? I'm going to need business next year. You know? I got 11 responses to my 350. But remember, I'm not just counting those responses. I'm counting yeah. Yeah. Yes. Yes. Yeah, I got 11. Yeah. No, there are a lot of no way, I'm never going to sell. That's okay. I had a great, I called them. I had a great conversation with them. You guys, okay, this was me. Okay. I don't like telemarketers. They irritate me. I don't like them. They interrupt my dinner. I'm not going to be one. But when I call someone and start with, hey, I'm a neighbor here in the Woodlands, also happen to be a real estate agent, and this is why I'm bothering you tonight. People respond to that. They respond to, if you just treat them, if you will act like a real person and treat them like a real person and stop worrying if you're telemarketing. It took me, I wish I would have gotten over that the first year I was in this business. I would have made so much money. I really do. I got over it when I had to because I needed money. So I can't move in with Jessica. So no way, I'm not living with my kids. So anyway, that's that. So let me find where I was in the first place. I only do it. This is my third one, this letter, because A, it's expensive, and B, I really need it. I really need not as often as I should. So don't tell them. My coach says I should be doing that every day, but that doesn't happen. Don't tell them. Anyway, we need to move on because y'all aren't listening fast enough. So this is another one I love, you guys. It's a program I stole. I R&D'd this. A CMA a day, but I don't call it a CMA. I call it an equity update. We're going to do your annual equity update. And this is not my idea. I stole it, and I have a slide for you on it. And then open houses, okay? That's, we spent, and I'm gonna go to, let me go to the next. Okay, so just a little bit, you know, we already talked about this, but I wanna just make sure I cover it. You're gonna get these slides. But so when, remember a lead is just a person, you have a phone number and an email address, you gotta convert them into a fan, okay? So you're basically sharing information. So you are giving people free information, and CMAs and market updates are your friend. All the people that have bought houses, for those of you that are experienced, all your buyer clients are your listing clients. It amazed me when I got into real estate how fast people will sell a house. Things happen in their lives. I would get listings a year after I sold. My favorite, it wasn't my favorite listing, it upset me, but I put people, they moved here from California, they were in their home for 90 days and they called me and said, I'm homesick, I want to go home. So, okay, so you just need to love on them. First of all, you're gonna share information. Information is power. You sound like you know what you're talking about. Know your numbers, and wherever you're doing business, know that market. You should be doing market updates. You should be doing social media market updates. Who hates themselves on camera? Me too. No, I hate me. I hate me. But guess what? You know how you sound on camera and how you hate it? You know how you look on camera? I know, but that's how you really look and sound. So, you know, get over it. I had to get over it. Do market updates, shower. You know, birthdays were the greatest gift to real estate. What a gift, birthdays. Birthdays are the best gift to real estate. Celebrate everyone's birthday. You've got their birthdays on social media. Make a calendar, celebrate their birthdays. Regular how are you check-ins, celebrate holidays with them. You have information on in your farm and in your area and for your database, you have HAR, so you have information on home anniversaries. I think home anniversaries are an excellent opening to giving an equity update. Hi, Bob. Happy 5th anniversary in your home. I share the following information every year with my clients, and I thought I'd share it with you. So there's your opportunity to equity update. Your buyers, every year they should get an equity update. Well, my personal deals have kept me busy, but what I did, especially people right around me in my area, I just kind of, you know, I kind of grow it, right? So I grow it. Like I started with my street and went and looked up their anniversaries, because unless they sold off market, you can see when they closed, right? You know, so, and you used to know what they paid for the house. So you got that information. So, you know, and for people I don't have contact information for, I sometimes leave them a gift on the door. That's a door drop for me. So I make it simple, just a little, you know, letter that says, hi, I'm your neighbor down the street. If you start with, I'm your neighbor down the street, I've had one nasty person when I called them and said that, I was interrupting their ball game. And they screamed at me and told me to never call them on a Sunday again. And I texted them right away and said, I am so sorry. I won't ever do that again. I just was telling them what I was, you know, looking for. And the man apologized to me. And so, yeah. So, create affinity, birds of feather flock together. We've already talked about all this. So, and be their resource. I'm working on now, you guys, I should have done it a long time ago, but I'm working on a business directory. I'm inundated. In fact, I'm like, I might have made a oopsie, because I put on my neighborhood Facebook page, hey, if there are any small business owners out here, I am creating a business directory for my clients and to put on my website. If you're interested in being in that directory, please fill out the attached Google sheet. It was crazy. I got so many responses to that. And those people, I will We're going to put them in the business directory. I reach out to them to talk about their business. And I do a 52 things to do in and about around the Woodlands video every week. So I can include them on that video too. They're going to love me. When I'm finished, they're going to love me. This is the steps to the annual equity review. Can you guys see it? Can everyone see it? So in a perfect world, I would do a CMA a day. I mean, think about if you reached out to someone every day, one person with some good information for them. And I do it for all of the people in my sphere. And I do it for all of my past clients. And if I run out of them, I go to my immediate neighbors and people around me. I haven't had a lot of trouble finding people to do this for. If I have the information, in a perfect world, I would say that I coordinate this with their home purchase anniversary. I do this because it keeps me from sitting there and going, who do I send a CMA to? You know, it keeps me from getting stuck in who to talk to. So I try to coordinate it with their anniversary. Then I can make it a happy thing, especially if they're my past client. Happy anniversary. You're not going to believe what's happened to your equity in this year. You guys, you made such a smart move by buying this house. I mean, think about what a celebratory thing that is. And then, and when I do that, I either email it to them or I deliver it to them. Most of the time I have an email address because most of the time they're my sphere, my database, my past clients. So I email it to them. I have a nice letter. You guys, when I do CMAs, I don't tell people your house is worth $699,243.53. I don't do that. I say homes in and around you are. I don't know. No. It died. Oh, there we go. Okay. I don't know that happened because it doesn't happen on my screen, so y'all tell me. So I email them and I just tell them, hey, congratulations. It's been a great year. This is what's happening in your area. I've created this equity update for you because it's very important that you understand your equity in your home. It's part of your net worth. So see, I'm giving them information about something they need. And then I tell them in that email, please review the attached. I'll give you, I tell them in the text, please review the email I sent you. I'll give you a call tomorrow to see if you have any questions. So I've emailed them, I've texted them, and then I follow up with a call. And most of the time they take my call because they're my sphere and my past clients and my database. And I just simply go over with them what I covered with them, and I ask them questions. You know, what's your guys' goal with your house? Do you plan on, is this your forever home? You know, I know something about them, right? Normally, so I can say, what are you going to do when Josh leaves, goes to college? What's your guys' dream home looks like? If you get involved with your clients that way, they're going to tell you what they want. And then you're going to know if they're an A, B, or C buyer, and you're going to sell her, and you're going to know when they want to sell. I asked them, now, when did you guys last refinance? If they don't have a good rate, I want to help them with that. Just those things. Have you guys ever thought about using your equity and buying investment property? That's another good way to talk about real estate. Last question, the most important question I asked. Do you know anyone that would benefit from this type of information? Who do you know? Who do you know that would benefit from this type of information? Because I want referrals from them. Are y'all okay with that? Okay. Right. Well, right. So here's how I do this in my work, okay? In a perfect world, which I'm going to tell y'all, I'm not perfect, you guys, okay? So I don't do this every single day. I should. It's a goal. But if I did, think about it, if I did a CMA a day, mean, think about if you did that. I know people that do it, by the way, commit to like 3 months, 6 months of a CMA a day. I mean, think about that. So I start with what I have, but just because I don't have any more clients to do, and just because I don't have any more friends to do, I'm going to go find somebody, because I have to keep talking to people. Here's what happens in our business if you don't make time to prospect or lead gen. And today we're talking about listing lead gen, right? So if you don't do that, because this is what happened to me. I was rich for 3 months and poor for 3 months. Rich for 3 months, Cesar knows what I'm talking about. Rich for 3 months, poor for 3 months. And you know why? Because here's what happened. I would get business and I would work on the business. And I would pour myself into loving on those people that I'd already sold to. And then I would go to all these closings. And I would be agent of the month for a couple of months. And look at me, I've done it. And then I woke up one day and I had no more closings. And I was like, oh my God, I have to go get business. So then I would spend all my time trying to get business. And then we would do it again. I'm trying really hard now, and what I'm sharing with you, what I'm doing to fix that is to calendar time on my day, not my week, on my day for prospecting time. And this is something I get to do for prospecting. And if I run out of this and I don't want to do this, then I can circle dial, or I can, mark it around an event. But I have to spend that daily time. And if I don't, I'm going to be back to rich Sheryl, poor Sheryl, rich Sheryl, poor. You've heard of rich dad, poor dad? Mm-hmm. That was a rich mom, poor mom. My kids be like, is this the month you're buying, or is this the month that we're buying? Now this is just on our slide, this is just a little bit about how I go about this, but I'm also going to give you some really good material on pre-listing appointments and the appointment, because let's pretend now you got the listing, okay? So someone calls, or you've found some way that you have someone that they're interested in listing their home. So I'm just going to go through what I do to get this home on the market, okay? Make sure I win the listing appointment. And by the way, we're all different. And so I try in here, and I try in my information that I'll share with you. I try to give you a laundry list of ways to handle this, because you're not me, right? You're not me, and I'm not you, and you're gonna do better trying not to be me. I'm gonna probably do well not to try to be you. So, but I will tell you that I make a pre-listing call, because I want to know about everything I can about this person. And I want them to have as much information as possible before I go to their house. So in a perfect world, my listing appointment is going to be at least 48 hours from this moment in time that I know I'm going to go on a listing. Does that make sense? Now, if someone says, I need to see you today, I'm not going to go, no, I need 48 hours to complete my process. So I'm so sorry, we can't do it that way. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to fake it till I can make it. But I can tell you, this is my perfect world, okay? So when I talk to them on the phone, I'm going to make a pre-listing. Let's forget the slide. Let's go to the stuff. That's not the stuff. That's not the fun stuff. So here's what I will share with you. I've got some QR codes for you. Here's some questions that you can ask in your qualifying process to understand what you're dealing with. You really want to know what's important to this person. I'm not going to read y'all because I know y'all can read. But I just, I ask them things about, I want to know when, what, where, how, what's going on with them, right? What their motivation is. If I'm going to talk to someone that's just, hey, I've been thinking about it, I met with an acquaintance. This poor man has lost his job and been without work for a long time, and he is contemplating, if I don't find a amount of time, I'm going to have to look at selling my house. So that was I had a very different approach to his situation than I would if you had to go live in Montana next month. Okay, so I need to know that before I go. So I also need to know if they have a thought on what they should sell their house for. I mean, we're in a very transitioning market. You need to know that. Because Bob sold his house for $50,000 over asking 2 months ago, right? 8 weeks ago. So we have to know that. So here's some good questions for you to ask at the on your call, okay? But I like a few of them a lot. I like to know in this before I go if they are interviewing multiple agents. So instead of asking them, are you interviewing multiple agents? I don't like that. You know, that doesn't. So I like number 16. So you can go through and pick, you know, what you like of this, how it suits your personality. I highly suggest. We don't like the word scripts. But you do need to practice this. So you can call it a script or you can call it a guideline or whatever you want to do, but you need to figure out what you want to talk about and how you want to do that, and you need to practice it and have it in front of you. Okay? Okay, so now here's the appointment. Well, no, go away. One moment, please. Hang on a second. There we go. So here's the appointment. So here's how this works. I apologize. I left the building. Okay, so I can have my call. I do my CMA. All right. And you guys that are new, there's 110 ways to slice this, but here's what I do. I use the regular CMA ad hoc, and I do a few modifications. So I make my cover sheet in Canva. It's too simple. I made it, and then I just change the address every time. And then, that's an old picture. And then I create my CMA in Canva. I'm sorry, in HAR. Now, I now have a listing guide, a seller's guide, but before I had that, HAR has great static, look at the CMA in there. Their static information is great. It has a lot of information. I left it in here. This is an old one of mine. Yeah, I think it says Abby on it. Yeah, it does. I'm sorry. I picked up an old one. But it has a lot of great information about selling your house, activity versus timing, the importance of pricing, all those kinds of things. It has that. So if you don't have a seller's guide, you might want to look at R&Ding some of that information. But I just put my CMA in one of these little cover things. You could get fancier. And then I've got a code for this. I now have this. I'm going to be honest with you. This cost me a lot of money to print. I don't pass them out, you know, places. They go on my listings. Another way I could do this, because I have information in here about how I market their home. Another way you could do this if you're on a budget is you could take whatever pages you want to have. Let me see. I'm sorry. I'll go to my listing appointments. I apologize. I got excited. What? This is my seller guide, and I made it myself. Yes, a guide to successfully selling your home. When I first started, this was a bifold. It was very short and sweet. It was 2 pages. I have R&D bunches of different people's stuff, and here it is, okay? So I'm like, oh, I like that. Oh, Kathy, I love her bio. You know, but there are cheaper ways to do this until you get started. You could create, put it in one of these. I get 10 of these for like $20 at the office. And then, or you can, but I used to have them saddle printed like they print them on 11 by 17 sheets and they just staple it together and fold it. That's cheaper. But anyway, they have their CMA, and then I feel CMA you're gonna get the listing. 100%. When I send my clients, they get a folder, and the folder has everything. I'm not good at standing in one place. So they're going to get a folder with everything completed. All right. My MO is I put all the stuff that's the notices and that kind of stuff on one side and all the stuff I'm going to discuss on the other side. It's all filled out. The two things I might not fill out before going to the appointment is I might leave blank in fact, most of the time, I leave blank the price and I leave blank my commission. And another way to get more business and make sure you get the buyer side, going, Bob and Betty, they're selling 123 Banana Street, and now they're going to go and live. They need a bigger house in the Woodlands, and you want to make sure you want to be their Woodlands girl, so you want to make sure that you get that business. I sometimes give them a little discount. I'll stick a buyer's rep agreement in there, and I'll give them a little discount if they want to sign a buyer's rep agreement at the same time. I don't like to discount more than 0.5%. I don't like that. But everything's negotiable. Soon they're going to use me, so they get this in their package. The day before, I'm going to tell them when I'm on their pre-qual call, now I'm going to put together a package of information for you, and I'm going to put it on your door, and please review that information so that if you have any questions, we can cover them at our kitchen table at our meeting, okay? And y'all, these are my favorite. Now, sometimes I've heard people put them in FedEx packages. I've heard people do all kinds of things. I bought these at Amazon. You're going to find that my whole real estate life is the Office Max, Amazon, and Canva. I can just say to y'all, Office Max, Amazon, and Canva, and call it a class. But anyway, these come for you guys. They come in black and white, and it just says, hello, I'm what you've been waiting for. But that's my envelope. I can get 100 of them for like 17 bucks or something. So that's pretty, cheap. And I drop it out the front door after my phone call. Right. And I tell them, please have it available for a meeting. And I've never gone where they didn't have it on the table. Have an actual listing appointment. Actual listing appointment. Now I have had I dropped one the other day where I didn't have a listing appointment. I drop off everything I'm going to need for my listing appointment. My CMA. I drop off my information about me. Here, sell your house, sell Sheryl, legal stuff we got to talk about. Okay? That's how it works. So whatever you want to put together, if you don't like Sheryl's stuff, because I'm not here to sell, but whatever you want to put together as a CMA, as a listing guide, and all your docs, have them all filled out. In my listing guide, I'm going to give I'm not into presentations, I'm not into going and sitting in no one wants to be presented to, right? They want to be talked to. But I need them to know I know what I'm talking about. Quite frankly, you know what people do? Oh, wow, look at this. She really knows real estate. I swear that's what they do. I've had people go, oh, your material was so professional, but I can almost guarantee my whole commission check, they didn't read it. So But, or they read something that was important to them, you know, something that was really important to them, that's what they read. Other than that, they didn't read it. Same way with the CMA. I make jokes with clients. Now, if you have, I'm gonna leave this with you, and if you have insomnia, this is the ticket, okay? But do you think they're gonna really go through a whole CMA? But they're like, they look at the little graphs and stuff, and they go, whoa, she knows a lot about real estate. That's how no one's ever asked me how many houses I've sold. Because they keep getting data, they keep getting market updates from me. That's why. So anyway, that's what they get. Now, when I go to the meeting, this is important when I go to the meeting. Of course, I'm going to be on time. I'm going to have a sign and a super in my car just in case, okay? And then I go to the meeting and I ask them first thing, may I have a tour of your home? Well, first of all, I'll ask them where they want me to put my things down, okay? And then, and I try to get, I say it's a kitchen table conversation because I want to be at the kitchen table. So if they give me a choice, I say, well, do you mind if we sit at the table? Or I can just leave it here on the table? Because I really, in a perfect world, I'm at the kitchen table, Mr's at the kitchen table, Mrs. is at the kitchen table. Okay, so I asked for a tour of the house, and I'm scoping, I'm doing my job while I'm touring. Because let's face it, the tour of the house isn't going to change much unless they're hoarders or, you know, because I've already asked them what updates they've made. And I'm kind of going through and making sure that when they said they updated their bathroom and they painted it purple and that's an update to them, or did they really, you know, put new cabinetry in it? And so you'd be surprised. So anyway, so I take the tour. I'm looking for things like things that are broken, things that are updated, cameras, things that are cameras, things that we have to discuss. I myself, when I go through a house for a listing, I work with a stager. I provide a stager consultation. You guys, it costs me between $200 and $300 to provide that. I think it's the best thing I've ever done in my business. But if you're not ready for that, then I suggest that you maybe, there's all kinds of things you can do to hone your skills on how to prepare a house and how to talk to someone about photography. Blythe, what's Blythe's last name? She does a great class on this. So if you want to do Kirkwood, yes, she does a great class on this. But I tell you, when I started doing this, I have family members that I've sold for that I just couldn't tell them to get rid of the ugly stuff in their house and still have a good Thanksgiving. So I decided that it was better if somebody else told them about their ugly sofa. And so it works very well for me. It's the best $200 I'll ever spend. And when people hear that I have this person, they're extreme. They think, oh wow, she's got a stage. You know, and I explain to them what's going to happen, that she's going to come through and she's going to go through their house with them. Be sure to take good notes. And as my business has grown, I now have enough staging things that I do addition and she does subtraction. So, and I tell my client, I'm in charge of addition, you're in charge of subtraction. So when the stager tells you, get rid of something, pack it up, those kinds of things, that's your job. But if she tells you it would be nice if we added some colorful colors or something like that, I probably have them. So, and by the way, my daughter and I don't know if I told all of you, my daughter's an agent here, but my daughter and I share a warehouse and we just gotten cheap stuff over time and we add it to our warehouse and we split the cost well. So other groups here in this organization that they share staging stuff too, and it works out well. But if you don't have that, don't worry about it, because Blythe, if you go to her class, she's going to teach you just how to tell people how to subtract, because subtraction is usually the biggest issue, not addition. If they don't have colorful colors, their house is still going to sell. So I go through that, and then I sit down at the kitchen table, and y'all can read, so I'm not going to read to you, but I basically start out asking them, I want to know their pre-thoughts. Were you able to go over the material? What did you think? What stood out to you that you want us to talk about? What's your biggest concern about selling your house? I want, because instead of me having a pre-thought on what I'm going to say to them, I want to have a thought on what questions I'm going to answer most importantly. Okay. So, and then I asked them, did you go through my marketing plan? Because I have a marketing plan in here and I tell them what I do for them in here. So if you don't have this, have something that you tell them what you're going to do, whatever it is, professional photography, have an open house, advertise on social media, all those kinds of things. Well, then tell them what you're going to do. And so, were you happy with my marketing plan? Did you have any concerns about my marketing plan? If they said no, we were really impressed, we loved it, I'm not going to spend any time on my marketing plan. A lot of that. They're happy with that. Then I have, and I do have things I need to cover with them in my CMA. And when I cover CMA, I talk to them about price range, like houses in your neighborhood are selling between 100,000 and 200,000. If you think of 100,000, like, they belong on the show, hoarders, and they've not updated or whatever it is. And then 200,000, that looks like Joanna and Chip Gaines did put it on their television show. Where do you think your house falls in that range? Now, if I agree with them or if I can live with that number, I'm like, that's what I thought. Everyone's happy, right? And then we add that onto my listing agreement and I initial it. So I go through all that and then I ask them, so are you satisfied with the marketing plan? Do you agree that I could sell your house for the amount of money that you've asked, that you think it's worth? And do you think I can do that in the time frame that you want it sold in? And if they say yes, I'm saying, well, let's go through this paperwork. And I cover all that paperwork. Now, if they're not ready to sign, if they're ready to sign, then I let them wet sign. If they go, can I do this electronically? Yeah, then I leave and let them do it electronically. But I'd rather them sign it. So that's pretty much how that conversation. Questions about how that works? Concerns? It's a celebration. It's a happy time. When I'm there, some key things I do, I back into the calendar. Remember, in the state of Texas, you can only have a house on the market is coming soon for up to 30 days. So you have to back into that calendar. How long will it take you to do? You're going to get good at this. You're going to look around and go, gosh, when the stager gets here, it's still going to take them 3 weeks. You're going to get good at this. And you can back into a date that you guys have as a tentative date for listing, and then you create a calendar based on that. Please, please, please do not do listings until you can afford to do professional pictures. That listing is your branding. When people want to know how well you do with your listings, they're going to look at that listing. And I highly recommend, I think people make a mistake. Oh, that's just a rental. I'm not spending that kind of money on it. On photography and on collateral and all that stuff. Huge mistake. That is your branding. Okay, so what you do for a $100,000 house, I highly recommended you do just about the same thing for $1 million house. I've got just a few tweaks in my collateral for the two. Everybody, and I do Matterport too. I have sold more houses. People go, what's that? And I tell them, they go, oh, we love it. I mean, it's crazy what will catch people's attention, So I think that you should budget a minimum of $500 to do a listing, not a rental listing, a listing. And then you could probably get away with 3 in a smaller house. My photographer does fabulous pictures, and their lowest package for under 2,500 square feet is $99 for 36 pictures, which which is really good. And they always throw in extra pictures. Oh, I'm sorry, you guys. They always throw in extra pictures. And so I love them. They're called open house photography. But I usually do, for a house over 3,000 square feet, I always do Matterport because I sell listings on Matterport. I love Matterport. And I do photos, Matterport, and sometimes a video, depending on higher end homes. I'll I'll do the video. Well, that's $300, $400 in video and pictures right there. So if you're selling something, say a smaller home, a less expensive home, you might not do all that, but your quality needs to never change. Okay. So you might choose on this $200,000 home not to do Matterport in a video. That's fine, but your quality should not change. And people compliment me on my pictures. I'm like, I had nothing to do with it. I made a phone call. You know, I just knew the right people to call, right? So, I mean, my daughter, I tease her all the time because it was not fair. She actually had a seller waiting until her license was active so they could put it, their house on the market. So I'm like, that is so unfair. Who gets to do that, right? Most of us don't get to do that. So if you're brand new, I just want you to know that you don't want a listing until you can afford a listing. Does that make sense? Okay. All right. Do we agree? I got the listing. I got the. I use Trello, which is a project management. It's a project management application. I think Monday.com is like that. Trello. There's a few of them. I do Trello because I'm old. I learned it a long time ago, and that's what I use. But I basically have a checklist for every portion of this because when you have your first listing, you're going to sit on that listing and watch it like it was a egg ready to hatch. But that's not going to last long because y'all are all going to do at least 20 transactions this year, and you cannot keep up with that. You cannot. I cannot do it. You cannot do it. You're going to drop a ball. So have a process. Trello was easy for me. An Excel spreadsheet, a whiteboard, I don't care, but you need to make a list of every single task on your listing process, and you need to have a checkoff list so that you can make sure that you have a standard operating procedure. That was the word I'm looking for. So when I put a house on the market, I usually put it on the market on Wednesday. My logic on putting a house on the market on Wednesday is I run KV Core ads for my open houses, and I always have an open house on the first Saturday and Sunday. And when I'm up here in buyer's class, I will tell you, you should, as a agent, you should be trying to do as many open houses as possible. But as a listing agent, do your own open houses. You get so much business from them. I don't know anyone, Kyle Whistle is in San Diego. He owns one of the biggest EXP brokerages there are. And by the way, follow him on YouTube. He's awesome. Kyle Whistle. He's awesome. He puts out the best material. And he goes to his own open houses. The man has 50 plus agents on his team, and he goes to his open houses. So go to your open houses. If you think you're going to have a lot of traffic, you can take a partner, but go to your open houses. And so Wednesday, we go on the market, usually late in the day. That means Mondays, I have my photo shoot. I can beg my photographer and I can do my photo shoot on Tuesday, and he'll get my pictures back to me on Wednesday. So I can do Monday or Tuesday photo shoot. Wednesday, we go on the market. I put my ad in KV Core. A 3-day open house ad cost me $45. KV Core is awesome. You guys, let it do its thing. I have gotten so much traffic from open houses through those ads. I don't know where they go. I've never seen one. They go off into cyberspace, but I have so many people walk in the door. I saw it on the internet. And when people register, or they start looking on that ad in KV Core, it goes to your database. So whether they show up at your open house or not, you now have their email and phone number, and they were looking at a house. So what does that make them? A lead. You got a new lead.
Sheryl, can you bring us a little bit about
Yep.
more house?
I'll show you. This is a real quick. I don't have to go. I can just show and tell real quick. Remove my box. Y'all are listening fast enough. Thank you. Get rid of my box. Okay, so when you go into KV Core and you go down to all lead generation, all lead tours, you can go to Core Property Boost. Go Boost now. And you can do Property Boost. Let me see, I want to, I think this is it. Oh, that's my metrics. Hang on, boost a property. Okay, you guys, now my ads have started over since I went to EXP KV Core, so I don't have all my history. But look at this, I've gotten, so I ran 4 ads. And you guys, I run more ads, but my husband's an agent also. He's a new agent, so we've been running our ads through his KV Core. So, but look at 4 ads. I've had 3,321 impressions. I've had 135 total clicks. I've had 19 form submissions, and I'm doing like $10 a lead on those. Now, I have to tell you that's high because as we run a lot of ads, that cost goes down per lead. And on average, I'm $6 a lead. You're not going to find any lead generation anywhere for $6 a lead. You know. So anyway, so when I want to boost a property, I can just boost a property. Let me just see. I don't want, these were my ads, but these were open house. This is what they look like. When I go in there to boost a property, I need to, let me see. Let me go to boost a property. I have to tell it a property. Let me do. I don't know how to, let me see if it'll let me. I'm trying to remember. Oh, okay. So if I want, let me just pick a property. So if I wanted to boost a property, I would put that, use select listing. And then I tell it that I want to do an open house. This is my rental listing, y'all. If y'all know anyone that wants a great rental, please, God, let me know. It's cheap and it's getting cheaper. So, but anyway, so you just tell it open house, and I do it for 3 days, which is great for an open house, $45. But see, if I don't give it at least 3 days, they won't run the ad. So I have to have it 3 days. So that's why I put my listings in on Wednesday, the ad goes in on Wednesday. We start doing showings on Thursday. And then at the same time, simultaneously, I'm creating my collateral for the listing, okay? So here's some of my collateral. I'm sorry, you guys, I gotta go over here just for a second. Yeah, big house, I've got 3 ways. Okay, so first, here's the first way. You want to make brochures, guess where I create the brochures? Y'all are catching on. So, y'all, there's 110 Canva templates for brochures for real. If you type in real estate brochure in Canva, your problem is gonna be which one to choose. I created this one a long time ago. You have to upload them. You have to upload them in Canva. So this is my big house one I have. This is my little house. I call them little houses and big houses. It's around 3,000 square feet difference. This is the little house one. But here's my new thing. I have a new thing. Remember, if you come to this class next month, I'll have a whole new thing too. This is my new. So I could tell you it's not good. But so we create in KV Core, we create a landing page in KV Core. If you went to the KV Core class, you know how to do that now. A landing page in KV Core, and then I put a QR code up, more about this house. If you hit the QR code, you go to the landing page, which asks you to put your information in to get information about the house. I use this for 2 different reasons. One, they go to my KV Core page and look at this house in my KV Core database. and I use it for registration at open house. So it works wonderfully for the registration. I'm not quite sure I know how well it works for just information about the house instead of a brochure, because those big brochures for 10 of them cost me about 18 bucks. But so for 10 of them, it cost me like 18 bucks. So, you know, I would rather do it this way because this cost me next to nothing, right? A sheet of paper I printed. Canva for the design, QR Monkey for the free QR codes, free customizable QR codes. QR Monkey.
The one that says promoter and not agree.
Yeah, you choose that. I never do over 7 because my house is going to sell, right? I mean, let's be optimistic here, really. I mean, I do the 3 days. Well, see, I'm not gonna I just do 3 days. I don't spend that bucks. Okay. Now you could come back and go, no, Sheryl, you're doing it wrong. You can, if you want to try 21 days and, you know, we'll use you as a crash dummy. Yeah. No, I use 3 days. Yeah, 3 days. And by the way, part of my marketing is that I tell people I run paid ads. Well, this is how I run them. So I run after, if it doesn't sell the first weekend, which we're back to normal, so you know, we gotta plan differently, right? Haven't had to do this in a while because everything's sold in a weekend. But after that, I'm going to run ads for them, especially my higher end listing. I'm going to run ads for them every week. And I usually get on the 7-day ad, I usually get anywhere between 6 to 11 leads off that ad. Now, when I tell my seller, hey, you know, we have people that show interest online, we follow up and talk to every one of those leads, every one of the, I call them leads, every one of those potential buyers. I tell them that I've followed up on them. This is the feedback I've got. Really what I'm doing though is I'm shopping for what? More leads and more listings and more buyers, right? Because remember, I'm going to turn that one listing into 10 transactions. That's my goal, 10 transactions. In a perfect world, I got the listing. I've got, in a perfect world, I have the buyer. Those of you that have teams, you have the buyer. And then the seller and the buyer give me a referral. That's 4, right? And then I get my nosy neighbor, at least one nosy neighbor or circle dial person or somebody from my open house. So that's what, 5, right? And then I get a couple buyers from my open house. So let's say that's 6 and 7. And then everyone gives me a referral. That's how a listing is supposed to work. That's why when you do listings, when you get to the point that you do listings, that's why it grows your business. Because you will get buyers from listings. They walk in your door without an agent. And by the way, I don't ask, do you have an agent? Don't ask that question. They'll tell you if they have an agent. If they don't have a buyer's rep agreement, they're not going to tell you. Just keep talking, okay? Just keep talking. Because if you say, do you have an agent? Guess what they're going to say? Now, if I really suspect they have an agent, here's what I'll say. Who's helping you with your home search? Because if no one's helping them, it's kind of funny. They don't want to say no one. They'll say, honey, do you remember her name? I'm like, you don't have a buyer's rep. So, and also, I've done a few other. If I have an in-house, I usually put out, I didn't bring my footies, but I get footies on Amazon, and I put them in a cute basket, and I usually put a sign like this up there, and I tell people to please take off their shoes or to wear the footies, and that's because you're not there every day, and no one's there every day, and no one knows what they tracked in on the floor. So if you don't do that, you're going to have people call you and go, you got to do something about those floors. And by the way, if you list an open house, go to it every week. This is the brochure. This is another Office Max thing. And I put everything in one of them. See, this is my favorite store in the world. And so real estate agent. And so I put, I put the MLS in here. And see, the good news about Matterport, it automatically creates a floor plan, Matterport. Matterport is like the technology that you can use. You know how it looks like a dollhouse? It looks like a dollhouse, and then you can go and make your cursor go to all the rooms and everything. Well, people who have the VR glasses, they can be in the rooms. So young, Matterport, Matterport, and like some photographers have it, some don't. My photographer does. So, but it automatically creates a floor plan, and people love floor plans, love them. So if I have, and then I put everything that my client filled out, I put it in here. If I have a survey, I put it in here. And then, you know, you're going to get where you fall in the same area, right? You got the same school districts, you got the same everything, right? So if there's cool things about your area, put it in here, because you get a lot of people coming through that don't know. So put it in your little book if you have cool things about, you know, the house, the area. If we've done a lot of updates, I put an update list. Top 10 things I love about my house, you know, those kinds of things. I put in here, but this is right off the internet. Okay, they say don't print the internet unless you're a real estate agent. Print the internet. So that's what I put in the house. Now let's talk about your open house. Let's go back to your open. Now, when you're a buyer's agent, your open house is a pretty good deal. But when this is your listing, your open house is a big deal. Okay, your open houses are going to rock. Okay, where did I put me? Let's get to the steps. Okay. So, your mega open house. Say this, mega open house, okay? Mega, okay. Because you're gonna need some planning time. You're not gonna wait till Wednesday to start planning. You're gonna be planning this eons beyond. Sometimes I spend the extra money when I have a really cool house. Maybe it has a really cool pool, or it has a really cool, you know, outdoor something. I get my photographer over there to take a few pre-pictures so I can do postcards to that neighborhood coming soon. If you have a big coming soon, like if you go to a listing and they go, well, we can't list in for a month, don't be sad. That's marketing time for you. You're going to put a big coming soon sign out there. You're going to get your photographer to take a picture of the beautiful pool. You're going to send a postcard to the 100 homes around you talking about that coming soon. And you're going to get to your open house. You're going to take that same picture and you're going to do social media posts for your open house. We do, I have a VA, you guys, and I agree, I cheat because she's real talented. She uses Animoto to take the pictures and do a little video. We've got a little video that we put on social media that's for our open houses. So we advertise on social media our open house, even though we do the KV Core ads. You can boost a post off your business page for 15 bucks. It's giving you Facebook business page. You can boost it. I spend 15 bucks on a boost for 7 days, or 3 to 7. It gets about 2,000 impressions usually. So I boost, when we create the social media video, I put that as the post, and then I boost that post. Okay, so we're going to do a social media post, KV Core ads. We're going to invite the neighbors. We love nosy neighbors. Some people, back to Kyle Whistle. I steal everything I know. I'm just up here telling y'all what I've stolen. So he does a beautiful "you're cordially invited" invite on his higher end homes, sends the invitation out, and offers the neighbors their very own private open house, like the Friday night before. He'll do big things, like, you know, the thing about it is, if you have $1 million home, You want those neighbors, okay? So, and he's done like Taco Tuesday food trucks. He's done, yeah, go follow him on YouTube. It's crazy. But so you want to make big of this event. You're going to invite your neighbors. Sweat equity, copy off a flyer and deliver it to the homes all around your open house. This is my favorite circle dial. Hi, Mr. Smith. I'm Sheryl Vecchio with eXp Realty, and I'm calling you because your neighbors down the street at 123 Banana Street are selling their house. Now, wait a second, because he goes, really? I said, yes. I said, it's going on the market on Wednesday, and we are having an open house on Saturday. And I was concerned because there'll be a lot of activity in the neighborhood. We're advertising it. And I just wanted to reach out and give you my phone number that if you need anything during that open house, if someone gets too close to your yard or driveway or you need anything, you give me a call. Now, how nice is that of me? Was that nice? And then I say, and by the way, why don't you stop by and say hello? And we love nosy neighbors. Bring anyone you think that would like to live in your neighborhood. Or if you want to pick your own neighbors, this is the chance. I mean, there's so many ways you can make that call. So you really want to, that's my favorite. If you feel bad about calling people, that is an easy call, don't you think? And by the way, they'll ask you, well, how much is he selling it for? So there you go. Well, we're going to be listing it at, $4,323,000. But if you'd like, after it sells, I can give you a call and let you know what it sold for. They always like that. Yeah, I would like to know that. And then they'll say, oh, I'm not thinking about selling. I said, well, that's okay. You still want to know what your house is worth. There you go. So circle dial, it's just an opportunity. You video from the house. So I'll send out my open house, all my open house advertising at least by Wednesday, right? And then maybe that Friday, I'll video from the house and put it on social media. So video from the house. So when you go live, you create the excitement. You cannot have enough signs. And yes, they don't let us use signs in the woodlands, so don't put out a bunch of them and put out cheap ones because they might disappear. But I put them out anyway. Serve food. If you're new and you're on a budget, Kroger, with your Kroger card, you can get 2 dozen cookies for $7.99 and you can put them on a pretty platter, and there you go. If it's $1 million listing, you might want to consider offering more food. Yeah. So, think about that. I have CMAs available at my open houses. I have CMAs available at my open houses, and I have a list of other available houses. Because people will talk to you and they'll stand there and go, I don't like this kitchen. It's really closed off. And I have a new buyer because at an open house, they said, this is whatever builder it was. She didn't like it. I said, well, you know what? Have you seen the house down the street? And I can't remember, whatever, Whispering Oaks. And she goes, no. So we got on my computer and we were looking at houses at the open house. It's good to have a partner. My husband and I work together. So if someone gets too chatty with me, I'm not missing anybody. Because I like chatty, right? But I might miss somebody, okay? So we had, and guys, don't get frustrated with open houses. I had 2 open houses a couple weeks ago. One of the open houses was so fantastic. We had people at the open houses that had so much fun with each other, they exchanged phone numbers, okay? All we were missing were cocktails we could have called at a party. Same marketing, same process. The next day we had an open house, we had 1 person. So it just happens, okay? Don't get frustrated with open houses. Quite frankly, it's your marketing around the open house that matters, not the open house itself. So have CMAs available, list of other houses, have a solid way to register. This is my favorite way. I used to do it this way. I'm going to say the K word again, right? You download KV4 Open House on your laptop. Not your laptop, your tablet if you have one. Or you can do it on your phone. Okay, hang on. Okay. Oh, it's up. So you can, KB Core open house is the coolest thing since sliced bread. And I don't think I'm online. I don't want to create an open house. I want to create exit. Hang on a second. You download KB Core open house. And let's just put, we're going to start an open house. Okay, I'm going to relaunch this. Okay, so here's what it looks like. So when you launch it, it asks you if you want to put in their name, their email address. I always require a phone number. I don't care if they're working with a real estate agent. And where did you hear about the open house? I kind of care about that because I like to know how my marketing's going. And then I launch it in KB Core. This is all free, and if you're not using it, shame on you. I like to tell people what everything is. Next. And then I can add a hashtag if I want to, so I can use that information in my marketing later. But I launch it. You got to give it a pin, and you launch it. And it didn't do it because I think it doesn't like me because it's really already, I think it's already sold. But anyway, people see that information and they see where they can register. Here's the gotcha on that, okay? KB Core Open House. It's an app on your phone. I only know how to work it on iPhones if you use it on your phone, but it's part of your KB Core package. So you can download KB Core on your phone, and you can download KB Core app, Open House. Now, when you do that, it goes directly to your KB Core. My gotcha on that is, I love KB Core. I can tell you where the holes are. Is that if you're at a house that you don't have the internet connection, it doesn't work all that well. It saves information, and then when you get to an internet connection, it downloads it all. Well, I would miss people that I thought registered, and they didn't. So, and now, and you guys, you're spending money, you're spending time. Nothing should be more important to you than getting people registered at that open house. That really connecting with them as a person and getting them registered. So when I do it this way, not only are they using, their cell phone, so they use their cell phone so we can use cell data. I don't need an internet connection. And when they register, when anyone comes into my KB Core database, I get a text and an email. So I can be more intentional. Because if I don't get that text and email, I can say, Bob, I'm so sorry, but something went wrong with your registration. Let me take care of it for you. What's your email address? I'll take care of it for you. And I put it in on my phone, okay? So I get him registered. So, and the way I tell people to register, I feel strongly about this. You are roaming around someone's home, literally, strangers. And so here's how I pose this to people. Me or the other person, someone always meets them at the door. And I introduce myself. Hi, I'm Sheryl Vecchio with eXp Realty. Come on in, feel free to roam around, have a cookie, have some beverages also. If you have any questions at all, I'm right here. Feel free to ask a question. The only rule we have is the seller asked for security purposes that everyone registers. So I have told them, if you want to roam around this person's house, they want to know who you are. And on KB Core, it tells them we only contact you when you ask us to. We only contact you for local real estate information. We do not sell your data. So it tells them that, but I tell them, people ask me, what are you going to do with this? And I tell them, I send out real estate information in the area, and I'll tease them. I go, and the police will use it if I come up missing. So we laugh, and they register, So speaking of that, if you are doing an open house at home alone, you do not follow people to rooms. Here's how we handle open house. And for those of you that are licensed to carry concealed weapons, it's really inconvenient to go get a weapon out and shoot somebody at an open house. So I just hold my keys. I hold my keys, especially if I'm alone in the house and one person shows up. And now when I'm at an open house, all the doors are open, right? And unlocked. And I am in a central place in the middle of the house, usually the living area where I can go out that door or that door. Never had a problem. I don't know anyone at EXP that's had a problem, but this is why we're going to stay safe. And then I don't follow people into closets, into bathrooms, and I just don't follow them. I stay where I'm at. So, and if you ever had someone that never ever came out of the closet, I would call someone to come be with you. Okay, I've never had that happen, but I've had people not want to leave the house, but yes, sir.
Cheryl, in the registration, whoever offer a ethical bribe,
Yes.
register.
Oh, all the time, all the time. And I give them my little spiel and I say, and to make that less painful, we are giving away whatever it is, $50 Visa card. I used to have a bowl where people like, a drawing, right, with a bowl, but I couldn't read people would just scribble something on it. People want to get out of that registration, you guys, let's face it. But that's why I'm there. That's why I woke up on Saturday morning. That's why I got all those open house cookies. So we're getting names and numbers, okay? Follow up with them directly after the open house. Thank you for attending my open house today. Did you have any other questions about the house we didn't answer? Don't wait till Monday. All the other agents are going to wait till Monday. They all do. Don't wait till Monday to contact them. Contact them right after your open house. The sooner statistically, you guys, the sooner the better. When somebody, even when a lead comes through on your open house, your little whole body should start illuminating when you see that notice that you have a new lead. The sooner you call them, statistically, we know that you have a better chance of connecting with that person. Now, remember, this isn't, I get passionate about leads because I get passionate about we think things are bad leads. Because most people will say, oh, I was just interested in the open house. I want to go to the open house. Or, oh, great. I look forward to meeting you. So remember, this is like dating, okay? Who's my single people? Any single people? Okay, well, it's like dating. So if you called all the people that you were interested in, if you're dating and you say, hi, this is Sheryl, will you marry me? Hi, this is Sheryl, will you marry me? What do you think will happen? Thank you. She's really weird. So you can't say, hi, we want to buy a house. Hi, you want to buy a house? They'll go away. No, I don't. Even if they do, they'll say no. So you're just trying to connect with people and get to know them, offer them assistance. Okay, everyone okay with open houses? Are we moving on? If someone says to me, oh, we have an agent, I'm very polite about that. I love it. I love other agents. I'm going to recruit them to EXP. Are you kidding me? I love them. Oh, who are you working with? Oh, Betty. I love Betty. Oh my goodness, we worked on a transaction together recently and it was awesome. Would you let her know that I was here and tell her to give me a call if she has any questions about this? And then I move on. They're not going to be my client. But if what I'm saying to you about, I don't ask if they have an agent because they're going to say yes. 99.5% of the people that come into your open house, if you say, do you have an agent? They're going to say yes. I put in my notes that they had an agent. No. I don't delete people out of my database unless they ask to be deleted. I had a person, in fact, I'm going to follow up with this person. I had a person come to an open house. Gosh, it was a year ago. And we had a lovely conversation and chatted and connected. And she had a home in Canada. They moved from Canada. They had to sell. So anyway, so I kept up with her and kept up with her, chit-chatted back and forth. And it was during the pandemic, and Canada had different rules and they had to sell their house. But it was a long process. So I kept up with her, and she sent me the most lovely note. Absolutely lovely note. Sheryl, I've enjoyed you so much, but I have a very close friend that got her license, and I just can't not use her. No, she was very nice. So I wished her well and said thank her. Well, she keeps going. She keeps looking at houses and answering text and everything in my database 6 months later. You know, like this woman clearly does not have a house, and she clearly is still looking. So I will reach out and go, hey, just checking back in with you and making sure everything's okay. And because I see that you're still looking at houses, did you find a house? And I promise you, if she's unhappy with her agent, she'll tell me at that point in time. And at that point in time, I will ask her, have you signed a buyer's rep agreement with that agent? Because if someone's unhappy with an agent and they have not signed a buyer's rep agreement, I don't want to make that agent not like me. But if they're clearly going to go find another agent, what I do to help that situation is I offer to call the other agent. I've only had to do it once. It was a good friend of mine. It's awful. But just warning y'all, it's not a good call, okay? But what I did was I called her and said, hey, this has happened. We had a mutual acquaintance. They came to me and said, we're not happy. I said, for whatever reason. And then when I heard my friend's side, well, it was on both sides. She wasn't going to miss them either. And so I just offered her a referral fee. That's fair. So everyone wins, right? She gets paid for her time. She was happy to get the referral fee and happy to get rid of them. And I, 3 months down the road, totally understood why. And so, but we all got paid, right? And my client's really happy. In fact, I ended up doing other transactions for their family. So they just want a good fit. Yes. Okay, I know what you're saying now. No, okay. True story. I do not use that number for dial outs. And I'll tell you why I don't, because I want most people to have my number. I want people to have my number. I want people to paste it on walls. People call me and go, do you mind if I give my friend your number? Oh my God, write it on the bathroom wall. I don't care. So no, I don't use that number. Here's how I do it. Let me go back to KB Core. I'll show you. Okay, here's what I do. This will stop your notification. So I go here. Let me go to a contact. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know. Stop it. I don't know how to I've never had that happen in here. Oh goodness, maybe so. This is a new wire. Yeah, okay. In a moment, when I get a lead, I'll show you what I do with one. So what I do, there's a place that you can put notes. You can log your call and put notes, and it should stop all those notifications. So, in fact, years ago, all your experiences help in real estate. Years and years and years ago, I worked, really years ago, I worked for Continental in reservations. And so I got used to, with the headset, talking and typing, right? That was the skill I got. That is a great skill in real estate. Because when I'm talking to somebody, I always have a headset, and I as they're talking, I write notes in KB4. Because you'll forget that, they went on vacation to Disney and they were celebrating grandma and grandpa's 60th anniversary. I took an early out. I've retired twice, Continental and Hewlett Packard. And in my family, we say the one thing I'm not good at is retiring. I do not know why it won't come up, you guys. I can't show you. But there's a note. There's a place that says log call. And you can log it. There it is. Oh, did you? I worked. Well, see, that was before my time. I took an early out in, oh gosh, I don't tell. I took an early out in 99. I got the best package. I don't use them. But, well, you know why? It's because planes are full now. Back in the day when I did that, I flew first class for 4 years and didn't know there was a coach behind me. Boy, that was an eye opener. That's another class. I got to hurry because I do promise to get y'all out of here on time. So anyway, so when I do a new call, so you click on new call, and then you can click on log call, and then you can log the call. Okay. And by the way, I wish I knew this when I first started. What? Is that you? Okay, there. Yeah, there you are. And so, I did take you off buyer. Yeah, I had one class I forgot to go in there and take all the buyer alerts, and I saw y'all were getting alerts from someone. Sorry. But anyway, I wish I knew before what I knew now, what I know now. But since it's you, we're just gonna play. If I, because I've never called you, that's not a good one. Let me see. Okay. I think this one. When you do a note, in fact, I'll just do a note. Oh yeah, custom note. So see, like this is someone that I wanted to remember who they were. So I wrote the note, right? When I write the note, see there's this little pin there, like when your first contact note, I highly recommend this. Click that and it puts that note at the top. So if it's something that you need to know, who is this person? I have so many thousands of people in here, I cannot remember which open house, where I met them, base information. So I pin it to the top of the notes so you don't have to go down to the bottom of the notes to see it. And I didn't know that for the first 1,000 people that I have in here. So that's just something you can think of. Okay, you guys, just a few things about this process after. Let's go. Where are we? We got through our open house. Here's some circle dialing information if you want it. Managing your offers. This was put in here when we had multiple offers, and that still exists sometimes, so I'm going to cover it. You need to have a way to manage your offers. Don't be that agent that ticks all the buyer's agents off. Cesar is a great, easy person to know. And so, I mean, you have to say, nothing makes you madder as a buyer's agent than no information, not a clear process for handling offers, not a clear communication. And you guys, if you want to, for those of you that are new to this industry, you do not want a reputation of someone that's hard to work with. Because a listing agent looks at 10 offers, and then there's that one person that's just a nightmare to work with. They are praying that that offer doesn't get selected, okay? So set the expectation with the seller about offers. You guys talk to your seller every week. Even if you have nothing to say, agree upon a time that you're going to call them every week and call them every week. So talk to them every week. Once the first offer comes in, I set a deadline for offers, okay? And like I said, this was written whenever all of, it was cray-cray land, the cray-cray land. So, but if you still have multiple offers, or if I get an offer on a Friday or Saturday, I really kind of want to see what the weekend's going to look like. So I will tell everyone, we've set a deadline this time for offers, okay? Communicate with all the buyers, agents. Communicate with them proactively. Be that person people like to work with. Put multiple offers in a spreadsheet with net numbers for your seller. So you're going to put them in a spreadsheet. Type of offer, cash or what kind of financing. Every component of that offer, you're going to have a row for. Earnest money, option period, all that. And at the end is net to seller. And that's how, and do yourself a favor, make them buyer 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Do not make them names, okay? I don't send the offers over until requested or the offer that we are thinking about accepting. Because if they have, think about what contracts look like if you don't work in this business and they have 10 contracts in front of them, that does not help anybody. So I give them a spreadsheet and then we have a call and we go over those offers. I suggest to my sellers that we don't I tell them about letters, love letters. And I suggest to them early in the game that I don't send them love letters. Because if they tell me not to send them, I don't have to send them. Okay? And I think that can just take the opportunity to get everyone in trouble. So no love letters. Okay? It's hard to get through a love letter, and buyer sends a letter to try to make influence the sale. And it happens quite frequently. And quite frankly, the average love letter hits about 4 or 5 points on fair housing laws. I mean, there's just, can you get through a love letter without talking about family status or, infinity to your church or groups or, include pictures. I mean, no love
We said
letters.
one more time.
I send them. I didn't. Now, this is not the buyer's class. This is the seller's class. I have a different take on that in the buyer's class. So I suggest you don't take them. We send the spreadsheet. I follow up with the phone call. I let all the buyers know. First of all, let the winning bid know that they won first, for you guys that are brand new to this, in case something goes awry, okay? And then, and I try to work with my seller, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay? Our favorite offers. So I send that to them, make sure we're all is copacetic, and then I proactively send a note to all my buyers agents. I send an email, and then, and if I send a text, I make sure I send it to them. Okay, and I tell them, we had a lot of great offers, including your own, the one you submitted. However, my client has selected another offer. That's it. Okay. Should anything change? Yes, we do that. Should anything change, we will contact you. But I don't tell why, okay? Because we get you in trouble. Don't do that. So I send the seller all the documentation to sign, and I send the seller a congratulations list, a congratulations letter. It's a template I have. I will share that with you, with all the dates and directions for next steps. And I tell them in the letter, I will follow up with a call to go over it verbally. Where you get in trouble with listings is someone misunderstands. Someone misunderstands. I had a client become very, very upset one time because he did not understand in the state of Texas, it is most likely the seller will pay their closing costs. Seller will pay for title insurance. And he thought in his state that was split, and he was just the one he was used to and had worked in before. He was extremely upset that he did not understand that. So be careful. Things happen because people don't understand. And I sometimes, with my experienced sellers, I apologize to them. I go, I know you've done this before, and I apologize, but to protect you and to protect me, I need to make sure I tell you everything. So if I tell you something you already know, I'm going to apologize in advance. And I tell everybody the same thing. I send an email to title and ask them to open title. Once my offer is accepted, I screwed up the slide somehow. I don't know what that said. So, I send all the information to escrow, and I have an example for that. I coordinate the inspection date with my client. Once I get an inspection date, when the buyer tells me about that, I ensure that the title company has all the contact information. It is my job to put all these people together, okay? I can't lob things over the fence to my title company and expect them to let me know if things go awry. I call them every week, title company, buyer's agent, and the buyer's lender. You know, guys, before you accept an offer, talk to that lender.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to that lender. But don't take a picture of that. I got a typo on it. I'll tell you when to take a picture. Okay. And so ensure that the title company has the contact information for the seller. That's a biggie. And I stay on top of dates and milestones. They go on my calendar. I have Trello list for all of this. I check them off. Even the most redundant of redundant tasks go on it and I check it off. I stay on top of everything. I do a weekly check-in with buyers and clients and everybody. I ensure the client has all the utilities transferred. You know how many people are at closing and go, electricity, I forgot, on the buyer and the seller side, quite frankly. Electricity, I forgot about that. So I know it sounds dumb, but you make sure everyone knows when to call, what to do. Closing day, make this a huge celebration. This is the beginning of your friendship with this client, okay? Your lifelong friendship with this client. So time to celebrate, go to closing. I take a nice gift. I take pictures. Think about, you guys, when you're on social media and you posted about the coming soon, and then you posted about the just listed, and then you posted about the under contract, and then you posted about the closing. Do you know how successful you now look on social media? I always say I wish I was as successful in real estate as I look like on social media. So after closing, you want to check in with the client 1 week and 30 days, and then they go. You should have at least 24 touches. Some people think 32. So it's easy to do. I mean, I have a weekly newsletter everyone goes on. So it's easy to keep in contact with people, but don't assume because you're sending them emails and stuff in the mail that they still love you. You need to call them from time to time and talk. Okay. That's what I use. I use Trello. There, like everything else, there's a free version and there's a paid version. Standard. Yeah. I think I do standard. I think the reason I say that, I don't know, is before I became an agent, I had a transaction management business and I used Trello to manage those transactions. And so I think I had to move it so that all my clients, I think I had to move it to premium, but I think your standard will work for you guys. Did you? Yes. I keep a template and then I created a buyer template and I just copied it. So what her question was is, let's say you want to boost a listing and it's not your listing. I ask people if I can do that. There is this is a gray area in real estate, to be honest with you, because it's about who owns the photography, from what I understand. And I have to start with, I'm not a broker and I'm not a real estate attorney. So always check with your broker. But MLS, by definition, if you're a member in MLS and you post something on MLS, then you're giving people permission to share the information, okay? Because you're giving other agents permission to share the information with their clientele. So that's one thought process. The other thought process is who owns the photography. Now, I think by and large, technically people think that if it's in MLS, you have the right to share it. But I like to call people and ask them. One reason I like to call them, because if they have a contract, I don't want to spend money boosting it. So that's one thing. And the other thing is I try to start with people, and we feel here in this organization that we all share, right? So and I'm telling you now, you can do anything with my listings. You can put big signs out. You can boost them. They are yours. And every once in a while you get someone that gets real persnickety about that. I don't understand that at all. I can have no logical explanation for that, because they should want you to try to sell their listing. But ask people if I can do this. And y'all don't say no, that's just silly. You know, I mean, that's someone that, hey, we need to help you to sell your house. So, yeah. The what now? I don't know. I never something that I've never used Craigslist to boost property, so I don't know. Not missing. Yeah. I've never used it. I've never been a buyer on it. Yes, did you want to do that? Oh, you know what? You're getting. I'm sorry. It's never happened before. And I don't know how to get it back. Can I, what is your email address? And I'll just. You're missing the first one, the copy of these slides? Here. Hang on, let me fix it. Yeah. You guys online? Oh, oh. I'm so sorry. Okay, let me fix it for you. You guys online, we are finished for the day. Thank you so much. If you had any problems getting anything you want, just text or email me and I'll be happy to provide it for you. Oh, and I need to stop my recording. Stop the recording.